Morris Mohammed, and you're watching the English news program on Somaliland National Television. Now let's start with the main stories making headlines. President of Somaliland announces registry committee for the national ID cards. President of Somaliland met with international aid community. Somaliland House of Elders had an assembly to discuss illegal immigration to Somaliland. The President of Somaliland announced on a presidential decree the committee responsible for registering the citizens for the national ID cards and the process citizens should go through. The President on his decree states that the Ministry of Interior is responsible for implementing the national registration process and elaborated that this registration is designed only for all citizens of Somaliland. His Excellency states in point number 1 that only citizens will be registered, and in point number 2, registration is for every citizen only older than 16 years old. Also in point number 3, the President states that the Ministry of Interior will be responsible for the registry process. The President of Somaliland stated that every citizen who wants to register will be approved by the chief cultural leader of his tribe. The President also states in the decree that the ID card produced by the Ministry of Interior after the process of registration will include the citizen's full name, the citizen's photo, date of issue, marital status, place of birth, date of birth, the gender, ID card number, address of the citizen, signature of the committee, and finally the signature of the citizen. The President called on all citizens of Somaliland to go to the Ministry of Interior to start the registration process and take their national ID cards. One of the main points in the President's decree states that in case any false ID cards was produced, it should be reported to the Committee of the National Registration, and in case of any citizen information in the card went wrong, the citizen should make an official application to the registration committee to correct the error. It's also pointed out in the presidential decree that each citizen has the right for one ID card only. President of Somaliland alongside cabinet ministers met with international aid community. The President of Somaliland, Ahmed Mohamed Mahmoud Silania, met with officials from the World Bank and EU, UN, African Development Bank, and members from different Western countries. Somaliland Minister of Planning, Dr. Saad Ali Shire, spoke to the attendees and stated,
"We're all honored by your presence here, and we thank you. I would like to give special thanks to those of you who traveled from Nairobi. I know it's a very difficult and arduous journey. I must also mention the UN Resident Coordinator's Office for the tremendous support provided in organizing this meeting. We have the President here today with us, which shows how much importance we attach to this meeting. Just to put things into context, the High-Level Air Coordination Forum was conceived back in 2010. It's the apex of the aid coordination structure, with 7 sector coordination forums forming the base of the coordination system. The High-Level Aid Coordination Forum brings together the government, non-government actors, and the international community. This is the only forum we all meet. Its mandate is to provide a forum for information sharing, joint strategy and decision making, monitoring and policy framing, all in relation to the National Development Plan. In that spirit, the main agenda business of this forum is the New Deal and the Somaliland Spatial Arrangement. It's a 2-day event Today, we will be setting the scene. After the keynote speech, we have 6 presentations to follow by ministries. Then the Ministry of Finance will present the budgetary analysis. That will be followed by presentations on delivery mechanisms and discussion thereof. That's for today. For tomorrow, the World Bank will be presenting the results of the household survey. Then there will be presentations and roundtable discussions on individual PSGs. So the main discussion is going to happen tomorrow. Today we're going to do the speech. Ladies and gentlemen, when Somaliland endorsed the special arrangement in advance of the New Deal conference in Brussels, we did so with a particular understanding of what the new development partnership framework would entail. 8 months on, it's worth taking a step back to remind ourselves of the aim, expectations, and outcome of the new aid architecture. At the heart of the matter are effectiveness of aid and the application of the principles of aid effectiveness, which include ownership, alignment, harmonization, cooperation, accountability, and transparency. These are the hallmarks of the New Deal. As I highlighted during the Development Partners Forum in April in Nairobi, Somaliland welcomed the New Deal with great expectations. But the change, of course, we had hoped for is yet to be materialized. This does not mean that progress has not been made, but only that the delivery mechanisms and management structures required have yet to be put in place. On the international community side, we are aware of the change challenge, cultural challenge, management cultural challenge, physical challenge, and organizational challenge faced in adopting new ways and principles of doing things. Nevertheless, we expect progress to be made at least at the strategic and structural levels. We hope our development partners will use this opportunity today to elaborate on how things are taking shape and how Somaliland and this special arrangement are envisioned to fit into the overall financing and coordination mechanisms under consideration. On our side, we have made significant progress as well in creating the conditions and the environment required for the implementation of the special arrangement. We made advances in both public financial management and the civil service reform by establishing dedicated units, defining roles and responsibilities, working closely with our stakeholders, and engaging our international partners based on a clear division of labor in many key areas. We have also documented progress across all the PSGs and begun the development of monitoring and evaluation benchmarks with support from the World Bank and the UN. And we are due to begin implementation on our first tranche of projects through the Somaliland Development Fund next month. Now we need to institutionalize, harmonize, and consolidate these efforts as an integral part of the new cooperation mechanism between Somaliland and its development partners, in line with the aid effectiveness principles outlined in the New Deal. Ladies and gentlemen, This meeting offers an excellent opportunity to take forward these tasks through discussions in order to ensure bottom-up program development, agree on achievable annual plans, timelines and milestones, and develop clarity on funding levels and structures, set out a division of labor that ensures complementarity among donors and other development partners, and draw up a robust monitoring and assessment framework. That's what we expect from this forum. We have evolved and we will share with you an ambitious set of priority milestones, is in the package, that we hope to achieve across all of the PSGs over this year 2014 and over the next year 2015. These are derived from the special arrangement and the National Development Plan. Some of you may think that we are too ambitious and we need to scale down to a smaller number of priorities. Well, you are not wrong. We are ambitious. Somaliland understands that the ultimate goal of state building cannot be achieved in a piecemeal or half-hearted fashion, but requires fundamental transformation across all sectors, allowing environmental degradation and sustainable levels of youth unemployment, and geographic, demographic, and gender inequalities in access to justice, development, and political representation are all daunting challenges that must be boldly and simultaneously confronted. Ladies and gentlemen, we are committed to taking lead in our development, and we are ready to deliver on our share of responsibilities in the compact, including the implementation of legal, institutional, and structural reforms, and the allocation of increasing resources to development from our budget. Our budget envelope is increasing year on year, and increasing investor interest in our economy will eventually shift the share and burden of development capital away from aid and towards public and private sectors financing. What we expect from our development partners and from this conference is clear guidance on resource levels, funding structures, and implementation plans of the special arrangement endorsed in Brussels in September last year. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot forget to acknowledge your invaluable assistance over the years. Our success story is your story too. You have a footprint in everything we have achieved so far, and for that, we thank you. Thank you very much. And I would like to invite the President to deliver his keynote speech.
Somaliland President Ahmed Mohamed Mahmoud also stated,
Excellencies and Ambassadors, Honorable Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all for making the trip to Hargeisa. I would like to mention in particular the UN President Coordinator, Philippe Lazzarini, and the Danish and UK governments for working with us to facilitate this meeting. On behalf of the Somaliland government and people, we are grateful to those development partners that sit before us here today, as well as those who were unable to share this occasion with us for their generous assistance to Somaliland over all these years. Today we come together to take stock of the progress Somaliland has made in implementing the New Deal since we endorsed the Somaliland Special Arrangement in September 2013, and to point the way forward. Somaliland and the international community are committed to working towards the same goals of a peaceful, democratic, and prosperous region. And this coordination forum offers an important opportunity for the Somaliland government, civil society, and our development partners to engage in productive dialogue on how to make this reality on the ground. We're not starting from scratch, but building on over 2 decades of successful peace consolidation, democratization, and institution building. These foundations have created an environment where programs can be implemented successfully and effectively with long-established government institutions and experienced civil society groups. We have a long-term vision, 2030, with a stable, democratic and prosperous society as our end point, and we have been working towards this goal since 2012 with our 5-year National Development Plan. Our special arrangement is fully aligned with the National Plan and provides architecture for our efforts to be focused in priority areas to achieve defined milestones. My government is very much committed to necessary transformational reform in key areas such as public financial management, civil service, justice, investment climate, and security. We have ambitious plans across all these sectors. With the support of our partners, we can create the institutional and legal framework necessary to fully realize the fruits of the New Deal. The ownership and the accountability principles of the New Deal are also behind the government's choice of the Somaliland Development Fund as our preferred financing mechanism. We thank the UK and Danish governments for helping to establish and contribute resources to this fund, and we call upon all international partners to consider channeling their support through the Somaliland Development Fund and similar trust funds. Although Somaliland, a post-conflict country, has made impressive progress in a very challenging environment, our future development needs cannot be ignored. For stability and security to be maintained at home and spread throughout the more volatile areas of our region, the international community must reward and empower Somaliland for its commitment to our shared values of peaceful coexistence and legitimate politics. Major challenges and threats continue to present themselves, which have global repercussions. We believe that the best solutions come from the indigenous approaches and bottom-up initiatives. Somaliland takes pride in having embarked on such unique course of bottom-up state building, which has far exceeded expectations. Somaliland is committed to continue being a responsible international partner, and with your support for the Somaliland special arrangement and our determination to carry out comprehensive reforms, we believe Somaliland can be a model of what successful New Deal-led development can look like. I'm sure that one day all of us sitting here will look back on this day with pride of what we have achieved together. Thank you.
Somaliland House of Elders held a session to discuss ways of preventing from illegal immigrants coming inside Somaliland without any legal papers. On this assembly chaired by the chairman of the House of Elders, Saleban Mahmoud Adan, members of the House of Elders discussed the need for establishing a stronger security on border lines around Somaliland to prevent from the access of illegal immigrants residing in the country without any illegal papers. Members agreed on the importance of establishing a new law that states that every resident inside Somaliland should carry legal papers when coming inside and leaving the country, and pointed out that it's vital for the country's security to identify every individual in Somaliland while they enter and leave the country. Chairman of the House of Elders Sulaiman Mahmoud Adan stated that Somaliland welcomes visitors from all around the world, and security inside the country is very important to maintain peace and stability within the nation. He eventually reiterated on the importance of the government keeping in track with everyone that enters and leaves Somaliland, reassuring that Somaliland government will soon approve on this law. Minister of Presidency Hirsi Haji Ali Hassan and Minister of Information cut the ribbon of the completion of new 5 kilometers in the road linking Hargeisa city with Salahle district. Attendees at the event included members of Somaliland Parliament and House of Elders, as well as committee of the renovation of the road linking Hargeisa city with Salahle district. Minister of Presidency Hirsi Haji Ali Hassan also set the foundation stone for another 15 kilometers donated by the government of Somaliland as a contribution to the ongoing construction of the road linking Hargeisa city with Salahle district. Minister of Presidency spoke about the significance of road renovation to this nation. Also, such projects facilitate the transportation from one to the other city and district inside the country. He continued to reiterate that Somaliland's government pledges to provide the necessary support and assistance to every individual willing to make a change and create projects that will serve the nation. In conclusion, other keynote speakers at the event spoke about the importance of this road to the people of Salahle and expressed their appreciation to the completion of this construction. Director General for Sports, Youth and Tourism, alongside officials of that ministry, had a meeting with officials of the Ministry of Sports, Youth and Tourism in Berbera City. Director General of Sports, Youth and Tourism held a meeting with officials of the ministry in Sahel region. They discussed ways of improving sports in Somaliland and providing the youth in Somaliland with the equipment they need to better their sports activities. The Director General also held a meeting with the youth of Berbera City. They talked about upgrading sports, youth and tourism in Berbera City. The Director General of Sports, Youth and Tourism also visited Abdullahi Football Stadium in Berbera City and supervised the reconstruction of the football stadium. Mustafa Muhammad Albi from Sahel region stated that the ministry is taking positive steps forward in the right direction and that they connect the youth of Somaliland by sports activities. Somaliland women community in Saudi Arabia sent a donation comprised of money and food items to patients inside Sahan Mental Hospital in Hargeisa. These women are known for helping people with mental health issues. They also came previously on a short trip to Somaliland to distribute similar donations. Rhoda Muhammad Ali expressed her appreciation of such donation and said that on their visit they met some amazing people interested in such efforts. She also said that it's the work they are doing that will leave a lasting memory in the future. Sheikh Adan Mahmoud, Sheikh Adan Sira also expressed appreciation for what these women have done, and he thanked them for raising the fund that consisted of money as well as 3 containers of dates. He prayed to Allah that this charitable event will benefit them not only now but also in the hereafter. Bashir Muhammad Chama, official of Sahan Mental Hospital, also expressed his gratitude towards this donation and stated that these women were great support from the beginning. A ceremonial event was held in the UK to commemorate a Somalilander woman appointed as a councillor in the local municipality in West London. Councillor Amina Ali made a speech at the event stating that unity is required from all citizens of Somaliland wherever they are. Abdul Rashid Hared congratulated his colleague and said that she will be the second woman in London that was elected by vote to become a councillor. He described this as an empowerment for Somaliland women in the UK and said that this means that Somaliland will have a voice among the international community and is no longer invisible. Other keynote speakers made keynote speeches and congratulated the new Councillor Amina and praised her dedication to Somaliland's cause. That's the end of our news. Thanks for watching and catch us tomorrow at the same time.